almost all the hate comments I get are, why are you so sad? Why are you always crying about shit? Just bless up, G. Come on, man. Be happy again. And recently, I've noticed, I've been getting sad. Thinking about the past, thinking about things like a lot more frequently. But this time, I don't hate it. I'm actually okay with it. I actually kind of like it. But not to a point where it's destructive and I just sit in bed and cry all day. I go about my day probably just as, if not more productive. And I invite that feeling in. Welcome back to Illegal Therapy, where I yap your ear off about some topics that I want to talk about. This song's actually the perfect representation of it. It's called Old Navy Blue by Louis Capaldi, the guy who's pretty busted looking, who makes a ton of those sad ass songs. And what I think it is about is Old Navy Blue, meaning blue, the color sadness, the color of depression. And he's kind of he's like, oh, it's good to see you again, my friend. It's good to see you again. I'm not mad that you're here. If anything, I accept that you're here. And I'm not even trying to get rid of you. And back when I was so depressed, right? Actually, let me pause the song because it's so fucking, I'm so stupid I can't think about two things at once. Back when I was super depressed, I almost had no emotions. As you guys know, I'm a very emotional person. Well, back when I was a kid, I was so emotional. So much anger. So much pent up hatred for myself. A lot of darkness in my life. Also, the highs were super high. That's just who I am. The highs feel extravagant and the lows feel destructive. Even now, when I have quit basically every single addiction that I used to have, porn, nicotine, drugs, alcohol, except for my bidality and addiction. It's tingling right now. My butthole's on fire. When I was depressed, sorry, what was I talking about? The addictions, blah, blah, blah. When I was depressed, I was saying, even without those addictions, even, the lows of, normal life feel a lot lower than the highs of normal life. Even, seeing a fucking sunset for me, I saw a sunset today, it blows my mind. I'm surmounted, I'm anally probed with a deep amount of gratitude. Seriously, it's fucked. Wow, I actually thought this video was gonna get really emotional, get really sad. I'm pretty happy about this topic. I'm just happy about sadness, dude. It's awesome. And so when I was super depressed, I lost all that emotion. I tell this story a couple times, but I was in LA. Some of my closest friends, I was fortunate enough to be able to pay for this apartment that cost 5 figures for 1 month as this Airbnb. That was insane, right? Who's doing that shit at 19? That's crazy. And then it didn't matter what car I had or all the success of the modern day world. I was so depressed, and now I know why, but I look back, I had no idea, and I was so scared. I was so scared of why do I have this? But I had this fear, I had this deep pain in my soul, in my heart. I genuinely had so much hatred for myself. There was one day where I was lying down in this comfy queen-size bed, surrounded by my best friends. It was 6 a.m, and I'll never forget, in LA, I think to myself, oh my God, if somebody were to come in like a robber or something and shoot us all, I'd be completely okay with it. And when I was a kid, I was so scared of death, my biggest fear. But on that day, I just kind of I just didn't like life, I just didn't want to live. Fast forward now, after a lot of self-work and a lot of these illegal therapy sessions, I remember the first time I felt a lick of emotion. Because on that bed, right, I was thinking I couldn't even cry. I couldn't even feel anything. I felt my mind was on those thoughts. They they sucked, but like I couldn't actually feel it. I couldn't even get myself to cry. Think like when bad shit would happen, like even with the family, I couldn't. And then I think it was like a month after that. This is another story. I think it was like the first video on this channel where it was the girl that I fell in love with so quickly when when it didn't work anymore. Actually, even on the first day of meeting this girl, I remember I drove home like with tears in my eyes, being so happy to have felt this like amount of love. It was crazy, right? Simp, pussy bitch. Wow, my therapist says my coping mechanism is making fun of myself. That's fun. And then, you know, I think I put up this big wall in front of emotions after that, because I was like, I don't want people on the internet, or, you know, I didn't want anybody to know that I have this range of emotions. I don't want people to think I'm a pussy, even though I definitely am. And it took a lot of therapy, a lot of everything, a lot of life discovery, and truly, like, I know it sounds super cringe, but a lot of aligning my purpose in life to become the Giga Chad version of myself. That's just a word I use because it's funny to call, like, the best version of yourself, you know? I really want to be the best version of myself, and I just realized the best version of myself wouldn't be scared of what people thought of him emotion-wise. I want to show the whole human experience. So, and a big part of that is being okay with the emotions, inviting them in, but also appreciating them. And I've told you guys this quote before, what is like the quote from South Park, where Butters in that episode gets broken up with, and he says he even loves the sadness because it makes him feel human, you know? And I used to see when people in the comment section say, like, stop fucking crying, you little pussy bitch. I used to get so affected by it. And I think I got affected because it was a part of myself I really resented. I was like, damn. I don't like this part of myself. Like, you know, and I was so sad and angry that other people didn't want to see, like, the real human experience of life. And yeah, so truly, like, recently I've been, maybe I was just overworking myself in the gym and about to go to boxing now, just like destroying my nervous system. But I get these not huge, but I get these like bouts of sadness, especially when I'm by myself. You know, sometimes music triggers it out, or I'm thinking about, you know, especially my past relationship, like every fucking night in the shower, right? Jesus Christ. And sometimes I get like this decent wave of sadness. But the difference with it now is it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It doesn't feel like I'm a bad person or I'm a loser to feel this. It actually feels kind of great. It's like I'm so grateful to be able to have these emotions, but this time I'm not even like, I don't even want them to pass. I don't beg them to stay, because that's a big problem I used to have. Is like, you know, when I was first getting over the depression, every time I felt sad or whatever huge emotion, I'm like, I want this forever because now I finally feel emotion. But now it's like, I'm so grateful that in this life, we can have these emotions, and I'm choosing not to be that guy who stuffs it down, because I don't want to be that guy. And okay, let me keep talking about this, because this is, I don't know, I have so much passion about this right now. It's like, whatever emotion you have, like whether it's, you know, something recently bad happened to you and you're not proud of it, or you feel ashamed. And when you get that emotion, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. But I'd try one time at least to not push it down and invite it and say, hello, sadness. My therapist always says that. Say hello to the sadness. Say, I'm grateful for you. Say, welcome. And what that does is it makes you more secure with yourself. Because it makes you realize that what you're feeling is part of you. And when you resent a part of yourself, when you push it away, when you deny it, it will only come back stronger in a destructive way. The next thing I want to say is there's a difference between accepting and loving the emotions versus being the victim mentality. You know, I'm not telling you to stay in that sadness forever and play the woe is me. You know, like, if, you know, I notice for myself, I get into that mentality. It's like my first initial mentality when I think of sad thoughts. You know, I give you an example. A reoccurring thought recently is I'm in the shower. Well, I was always in the shower. And I always, I think about all the experience I had with my ex-girlfriend. And it's always like, wow, I did that wrong. Or I'm not good enough there. Or, I should have been more of a man. Or it would have worked out if I did this. Or even like, she lied to me. She broke the trust. She did. Come on, man. That's not only that's just being illogical. You know what I mean? That's just. And I think you gotta have these. You gotta be okay with having thoughts like that, but also see what the reality is and not let those thoughts be your truth. You know, you can let the emotion be your truth in the now, but don't let the thoughts be your truth forever. Because it's the toxic red pill slope is a fast descent into hell, and you might get a lot out of it. You know, you might get a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of whatever, but the price you pay is with your soul. So instead of using it to be a victim, use these emotions for good. No, not everybody has the luxury that I have to have a job of creativity where if I feel a certain way, I can express it and maybe it might help other people and use it like that. But there has to be something in your life that you love with an artistic passion. Whatever it is, man, like painting, drawing, editing, like boxing, anything. Use that. Use it. And be proud that you can use it, because there's some kid out there like younger Damian who's so depressed that he doesn't even have any fucking emotions. There's yeah, just for any like young guy watching who maybe feels some negative emotions a lot. I don't want you to think that these are bad things. And trust me, from a guy who used to think that they were horrible and was scared of them and resented those parts of himself. It's not an easy journey. It's not a short journey. But it is possible to love those parts of yourself too and use them to create some dope shit in your life. Some dope shit. You have to be able to accept, understand, and love every single part of yourself. Like I love every part of you, you dirty little bastard. Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying that. Time to go boxing. Love you, boys. Peace.